All right, guys, got a little recap video of my little trip to Indiana Comic-Con. Yes, we do have Comic-Cons, and they are absolute blasts. Let's go ahead and roll that footage. What do you mean there's no footage? All right, there's no footage. Let's move on, shall we? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to skeffscomics. I am Skeff, and thank you so much for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. So, like I said, I went to Indiana Comic-Con, and the footage I did take was hot garbage. Should have learned my lesson. I didn't. But moving on, I do have some epic books to show off here. A little recap video. I had an absolute blast. I bought a lot of fun things, a little bit too many fun things, as a little friendly reminder from the missus of how many big things I was buying. But I found some great back issue stuff. I found some really good deals, and I can't show them off to you and let you guys know what I did and kind of what my intentions with these books are. So I was able to find a couple fun key back issues, a couple slabs, and then one big mega book I was not intending on buying, but it was too good of an opportunity to miss up. And no, it's not an Ultimate Fallout 4. There was an Ultimate Fallout 4 there. I just couldn't pull the trigger on it, along with a Clone Wars #1 that was like in perfect shape, but I couldn't pull the trigger on it either. It was just a little too much immediately after New York Comic-Con. But hopefully the seller will be back at another local show and I can bug him for one of those two books upcoming, hopefully. So let's just get right into it. I have two slabs I'm going to show off that I bought from a local vendor there at the show. Obviously, they're two Something is Killing Children books, and I was happy to have them as I looked through my collection. And I didn't have any copy of these. So I was able to snag a 9/6 issue #6. This has it's unpressed, so like I know it wasn't pressed, so here's a chance for maybe a 9/8 on this one. I also picked up a copy of issue #5, but this is the variant cover, which I didn't have this one, and this one is awesome. I'm not sure how I missed this, but issue #5, the variant, this one was also unpressed. I can't really see anything too wrong with it, so both those are great candidates for a little bit of a CPR. I look forward to cracking these open. I got a heck of a deal on both of them. It was a great little show. I mean, there's maybe about 25 comic booths there for the show. There was a lot of other vendors there, so calling it Indiana Comic-Con, there was definitely more booths that didn't have comics than did, but the booths that did were exemplary and had some great selection of comics. I think the biggest, most expensive book I saw at the show was someone had an Incredible Hulk 181 9.6, and the price tag on it was like $40,000, and then someone else had a ungraded copy of Fantastic Four #1 for $18,000, but it was signed on the interior front page by Jack Kirby himself. So that was pretty epic. Very fun to kind of hold those little piece of comic history and just kind of put them back where they belong on the shelf that I can't afford them. Let's get in a few of the minor ones that I picked up. I picked up a beautiful copy of Shuri, #1 first print. I believe I paid $20 for this one, so not a bad pickup, in perfect shape. Obviously, I had to pick up another copy of Thor #1. I sold my 9/8 a while back, so I was happy to get another beautiful copy here. I do believe I paid $80 for this copy here. And I picked up not one, but two copies of Invincible Iron Man #1. These are beautiful copies. I paid about $20 a piece for each one of these, so not a problem getting those. I finally picked up a DC Grail. That's right, folks. You heard that. I guess not a Grail, but it's one of the very few DC books I've ever been on the hunt for. They're very hard to come by. It is a beautiful copy of Batman 608, the second printing. I was happy to finally grab one. I do believe I paid $160 for this copy right here, but it's in remarkable shape, which these are really hard to come by, let alone in high grade. So very happy to have picked this copy up. Next one I didn't know existed. I may have overpaid for it a little bit. I think I paid $75 for this one. It was Ice Cream Man #1, but the second print. I know Ice Cream Man #1 first print has kind of blew up in price a little bit, so I was excited to grab this second printing copy. Also in really great shape. In the same booth, they had this copy of issue #2 for really cheap. I think I got this for like $20 for issue #2, so issue #2 is bound to do the same thing next. So happy to pick up this issue #2 first print. And also, he had a copy of a book I've been after for a while. I only have a couple copies left, but this was only $15. So how do I say no to a copy of Middle West #1, the first printing? If you haven't read this, I do believe it's only 19 issues. Incredibly great read by Scotty Young. Incredible artwork. in the book as well. Please check out Middle West. It's an absolute blast, but happy to have another Middle West #1 first print back in the collection. And then there was one booth in particular that I found a bunch of copies of America Chavez series that I was very happy to snag in one of their modern short boxes. They had a fun little story about there was someone at that same booth in the same box that picked out all these copies of America and put them back. They're like, nah. And I'm like, what a terrible decision. Because I'm like, I'll happily pick them all up. So the copies of America, obviously I picked up a #1 first print in great shape. I think I paid like 20 bucks for that. Then I picked up a copy of #2. This is like the Beyonce variant of it. So #2, 2 copies of that. Those are like $4. Then they had 2 copies of #5 with the dog and the Kate Bishop. So 2 beautiful copies of these. I think these were like $10 a piece. And then an awesome cover of #7, which was only $10. So couldn't argue with picking up all those copies. It's fun. You can't find them anymore. They've all kind of increased in price. So really happy to snag #1, #5, 2 copies of #2, and then at #7 as well. Like I said, everything I bought was in really great shape. All the deals were really nice about letting me be very OCD about the condition of the books and let me checking them out and things like that. Guys, if you ever look at shows and see books on the wall, always ask permission and never take the book out of the bag without asking permission first and or letting the dealer do it themselves. Kind of just some good con etiquette for any of the new people going to those shows out there. Also, I plan on doing an upcoming video where I give kind of like my top 10 things to do to prep at a con and kind of like during con. So like keep an eye out for that one. Also, let me know if you enjoyed this video so far. If you do, please Hulk smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and let me know how I can continue to improve and get better at these videos. I greatly appreciate it. So at a different booth, I overpaid for it a little bit, but I thought it was super cool. It's America #2, but the second printing. The title changes up there on the top. I didn't know there was a second printing. I may have overpaid for it a little bit, but I thought it was really cool and happy to snag one. The same booth that had the America #2 second print had this awesome 1 in 50 Noctera #1. I paid $25 for the 1 in 50 Noctera #1. It's perfect shape. Off to CGC it goes. And of course, I can't complain with picking up another copy of Oblivious Song #1 first print for only $15. Great deal on the show. And a couple cheaper little back issue books is I picked up a copy of Department of Truth #5 and #6. Surprisingly, I didn't have those. I had 1 through 4, and then I was picking up the most recent one. So I was missing 5 and 6 first print. So I couldn't go wrong with $5 a piece for each one of those. I think they're worth a little bit more, actually. So on Friday, I went to the show to kind of just do homework, do some recon, check out books, check out prices, and Saturday would kind of be my buying day because I couldn't make it Sunday. On Friday, I went to the show, I was looking around, I did see something incredibly epic I couldn't miss out on getting. Because when I go to shows first, everyone always like goes right into like digging, and I'm always one that doesn't go digging right away. I usually just scan all the wall books first and see if there's anything I'm really interested in. Because those, like, you know, they're on the wall, people see them easier, so they might go quicker. I was so excited to see and find a copy of Kanan #1, CGC 9.8 second print. This, if you don't know, incredibly hard to get in a high grade because it has a very dark front and this incredibly dark back. I have to take this book. So my brain's just like, all right, what else can I bundle this with to kind of lower the price? So for a grand total of $500, I got this book plus 4 other books. And I'll show you those 4 other books right now, all from the same dealer. So I was super excited to get this book in a 9.8, this K #1. Second printing. So that book and these are the 4 other books that I spent $500 total on. I went to the show with the intention of trying to find copies of Kanan #6 ungraded, and those were not met. I couldn't find any. I did find one, but it was in really rough shape, so I couldn't find any copies. So instead, I bought the Kanan #1 first print, and I also picked up another copy of the Kanan #1 Scotty Young cover. And then, of course, a Kanan #1 first printing. So got those 2, plus a second print, so I was happy to kind of get those and kind of set them off to the side. But then the 2 books that kind of just sweeten the deal that made me super hard to pick up is this absolutely perfect copy of Edge of Spider-Verse #2, but the 4th printing. Super stoked to have this one in the collection now. And then I couldn't believe this was there, and I just said I have to buy it. So got 3 awesome Kanan books, and then, of course, I got 2 awesome Spider-Gwen books. This is Spider-Gwen number 0, the second print. This thing is a ghost. It's in incredible shape. Both Spider-Gwens are going to get sent out for grading. The 2 Kanans, not in the best of shape. They're okay. Ones I'll probably just hold on to. But these Spider-Gwens, I was so excited to add these to the collection. You know me and my Spider-Man fanatic syndrome. I just want to have all of them. But yeah, super excited to have this Spider-Gwen 0 second print. If you don't know how rare it is, go look it up. You will be just as shocked as I am to see how hard they are to come by. But they had one. It was in perfect condition. And a kind of nice little pair up with the little Edge of Spider-Verse number 2 4th printing. So all 5 of those books for $500 was an incredible deal, in my opinion. I was happy to have them. Now, the book that I probably shouldn't have done, but sometimes you just got to pull the trigger, right? That's how I've learned in the hobby. You got to have the hobby pay for itself. But I plan on doing a whole video about that where, like, I want to tell you guys how I kind of got started with this journey. Like, I started from nothing. Like, not from nothing, but I mean, like, I started with, like, no comic book knowledge. I didn't have any comics. All the big comics I have in my collection, I've went out and purchased on my own using the smarts that I've learned in the comic industry. So this has just been kind of a building effect. Like, this has taken like 2 years, 3 years to kind of get to this level where I can like go to a show and comfortably buy the book I'm about to show you for $500, which I never could have done back in the day. But you just kind of learn and you move on and you can take steps and you grow from that. So the book that I bought for $500 is this absolutely beautiful copy of Darkhawk number 1. No, I'm just kidding. It is an absolutely beautiful copy. I tried to find some blemishes on there, and I found like maybe one little itty did a baby little tiny little spine thing on the, like, not even really on the spine, but on the edge. Is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man issue 238, the first Hobgoblin, one of the most iconic covers in the Spider-Man run. You know me, the Spider-Man fanatic I am. This thing is beautiful. Tattoos are inside, perfect with the little protective sheet. Like, they're perfect condition. Pages are white. Nothing's missing. It's stunning. And this was one that I picked up. He was asking a firm like $575, and I'm just like, I can't do that much. And it's surprising to find out earlier that day he had sold 2 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 129. So I picked this one up for $500, and my brain's just like, at the end of the day, it's an iconic cover. It's one I don't have in the collection. I used to have one, and it was actually one of my very first videos. I think it was like a 7.5 that I found from my local shop. But for $500, it's a big investment, right? So bought it for $500 with the intention of getting it like pressed and graded, and you know, if it comes back in 9.6, it's worth about $12. But, you know, if CGC smiles down upon me and it's not an Ultimate Fallout 4, a 9.8 in this is worth about $2,500. So it is worth the risk. Sure, if it comes back at 9.4, I'm kind of like breaking even, but it's incredible shape. So I look forward to getting this sent out for grading. Obviously, I'll express it because I don't want it sitting there longer. But I was shocked I pulled the trigger on it. I may have overpaid a little bit, but to find these in perfect shape, that's why the price tag for 9.8 is like $2,500, and 9.6 is right around that 12 to 13. And this is an awesome book. It's direct. I don't care about direct versus newsstand in my opinion, but I'm happy to have it. And this is the biggest book I picked up at the show. So safe to say, spent a little bit too much at Indiana Comic Con, but I had an absolute blast. I met so many awesome people, by the way, from like the Instagrams and the YouTubes, and it was really great to meet people, and I appreciate everyone kind of stopping by, saying hi. I hand out a lot of stickers so people would recognize who I am, hopefully. But it was an absolute blast. I look forward to the next convention I'm going to, which will be in December, so keep an eye out for that. But that's it for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comments below, how do you think I did? Did I get ripped off? Did I get some good deals? Are you jealous of any of the books that I picked up? But just looking forward to having this conversation down in the comments, guys. I really do mean it a lot. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to watch the video. Comment down below. When you subscribe to the channel, share the video. Just seeing the growth, it's a beautiful thing, and I really appreciate it. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for checking it out. Skeff, out.